Yes, I'm still here, Hollywood. Coming up on today's episode, she waited more than half a century for her breakout moment. Then she delivered one of the most memorable performances of the decade and earned an Oscar nomination. Now she's headlining films at an age when most people are long retired. This is Still Here Hollywood. I'm Steve Kmetko. Join me with today's guest from Nebraska, Thelma, and Eleanor the Great, actor June Squibb. Hello, Miss Squibb.
Hello.
Do a lot of people call you Miss Squibb out of respect, or do they call you
they
June?
do, yeah. No, a lot of people do call me Miss Squibb, yeah.
Do you like that?
It makes no difference to me, really. I think, if people feel they know me perhaps better than they do, they call me June, some people. It was interesting. I was just doing a show in New York, and there was always a crowd outside waiting. And some were yelling Miss Squibb at me, and some were yelling June at me.
I know when I was growing up, my parents taught me always
Miss,
respect. Yes. Miss,
yes.
Mr., Mrs.
Yes.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you about working with Ethel Merman, because she was such a legend
Yes.
on the stage. You're a legend in your own time. Can you tell me what it was like working with her?
Well, for one thing, she was well liked and well loved by the company. She was a true leader. She led the company, and she was sort of a housefrau. She loved gossip. She wanted to know what was happening in the company, who was sleeping with who, and what was going on. And she, I will never forget. We were in Detroit, because I did the road company with her. She did the road.
Of Gypsy.
Of Gypsy. And I did it, and we were out 9 months, I think. And we were in Detroit, and we were at a show that they were giving, like a community show. And actually, it was a drag show, now that I remember it. And she got up after that show and sang There's No Business Like Show Business. And this strange group, it was her people from Gypsy that were there with her. And then all these strange people that we didn't know, she didn't know. She got up and sang, There's No Business Like Show Business.
Well, being a drag show, it might have been a gay crowd, and they would have related
to
her
they would,
well.
Very much so, yeah. But I think, she was much more human than a lot of people realize. I think they think of her as, I don't know, a colder person.
A little brassy, maybe.
Yes, yeah, brassy, that she really was.
And you played one of the strippers.
Mm-hmm.
What did you have to learn in doing that
role?
In
doing it, I had to learn how to bump and grind. We couldn't do it forward. That was against the law at the time.
Really?
Yes. We had to bump and grind over our leg, on the left leg or right leg. And I learned how to do that. And I learned a lot about electricity because I had a costume that had a huge battery in the back and then light bulbs in the costumes at strategic places.
At what point did you realize that you could have a career in acting?
Well, I really did it at about 2 years old, I think.
How come?
What
did you do at 2 years old?
Well, I did nothing. I always knew, and I say even coming out of the womb, that I knew I was an actress. And I never said I want to be, or I will be, or I am, is what it was in my mind. So I don't think there was ever a thought in my mind other than that. I can't remember ever thinking, that there was anything else I could or would do.
In retrospect, is there anything you could or would have done?
Yes. My husband always said that if I weren't an actress, I would be a cop. I love crime. I wanted to go to John Jay in New York and study criminal, whatever you study for that, forensics, I guess. And I just never had the time. So I love that. So I think if I had thought it through, it might have been that. But it was always acting for me.
Would I have found you on my television set in an episode of Law and Order, perhaps?
Well, yes, you could have. I did 2 of them.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I really did.
Because I was watching a marathon just this morning.
Yeah, of Law and Order?
Yeah.
Oh, mine were so old, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
It seems to me as though that show was just on.
I know. I just saw it Thursday night. I love it.
Yeah, it was a good show.
But I was on with Jerry Orbach and Chris Noth, and then I was on with Jerry, and I can't remember who he was with after that.
He was with Jesse Martin for a while.
No, it wasn't that late.
And Benjamin
Bratt.
that good-looking man.
Yeah.
Who used to date Julia Roberts.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did. See?
I'm learning.
Yes, you tell me, you mentioned gossip, and I go right there. What did Broadway teach you about discipline?
Well, the last time on Broadway was just recently, and it taught me that it's very difficult. It's very time-consuming. I mean, I think you have to prepare your body, your mind for it. You know, you don't just run in and do it. It's not that kind of thing.
So you get to the theater early?
I do. I always get there an hour early. Yeah. But I've always done that. That's something that I've done from the beginning. I always did that.
Doesn't that kind of take the edge off? Don't you need to be there, right before you go on?
Well, for me, there's a thing. I even, with Marjorie Prime, I went down 15 minutes before curtain and sat by myself.
In the theater or on the stage?
On backstage. I had a little cubby hole that they gave me for my changes and everything. And I would go sitting there just very quietly until Cynthia Nixon or Danny Burstein or Chris would come in, and we would chat for just a few minutes before we went on.
Did you use that time to get into character?
No, it was just me being there backstage. I think you sort of osmose of the feelings of backstage, the darkness and the quietness and everything.
Generally speaking, how much preparation do you put into a role?
Oh, before I even start rehearsals, I put in a tremendous amount. The script to me is like a Bible. That's why I do something or why I don't do something. And it, to me, has all the answers. A good director is wonderful. I'm not knocking that. But the script really tells you almost everything you need to know. And so I work on the script a lot before. And I also learn by myself. I don't learn with someone feeding me lines or anything. I learn by myself. And that, too, takes time.
You've been doing this for like 7 decades
yes.
now.
And it has worked so far, so...
Well, I would say so. If you're still doing films, you're still doing stage.
I'm doing TV next.
What are you doing?
Yellowjackets on Showtime.
Ooh, a good one.
Yeah.
Did you ever think it would last this long? Or is that the kind of thing you don't think about?
I don't think I ever thought about it. I just kept being offered things to do, and I kept doing them.
What do you look for in a script?
Well, I look now with the age. I look to see how they're dealing with the elderly. I really do. I feel I have to do that. I can't take something that laughs. I will not. That laughs at age. And I like a woman who is full emotionally, has a lot of different colors emotionally, that the writer has found and shown me on paper.
I've taken some criticism for asking women who sit in that chair if they find Hollywood discriminates against people who are getting older, women who are getting older. Mm-hmm. What is your thought on that?
Well,
you're 96?
I'm 96. I'm certainly the last person in the world to knock Hollywood in terms of work. I mean, I do feel very strongly that people are more and more interested in the aging process. We are becoming an aging population. we have people now living 80s, 90s, hundreds even, and it's not unusual. And so I think that people want to know, they want to see. I think that what we're doing, what we're showing, I mean, even the comedy shows that show retirement homes are doing a great service to a whole population who don't know what's available, what could be done, what there is out there.
You know, I think the show Golden Girls opened a lot of
Yes,
doors.
yes, exactly.
And still running today in very popular
Yes,
reruns.
yeah.
And just so all the cards are on the table, I just turned 73. So
Well, you're getting there.
I'm getting there, yes. Sometimes I feel like I've reached my destination. What hasn't changed at all?
In Hollywood?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't, I only lived out here since about 2000. So, I don't know. That's a question I would have to really think a lot about, I think. I guess there are ways that the people in power still control, what is done, what is shot. But I guess that's always going to be true. I mean, that's where you get your decision makers, and they do it. And again, if they're putting the money up, then they have the right to have some say in everything.
Do you find age changes the kinds of scripts you get?
Oh, yeah. I think that for me now, one thing I look at, and that I think I find almost always, is it's not a lot of physical. Thelma was a little different in that because
Yes.
that was a lot of things we did in that. But I was younger. I was like about 4 years younger when I did that. And but I now I look and I see, like Marjorie Prime, she spends the whole time on stage sitting in a chair. And I used a cane, and they were fine with that, to get up and down, walk around.
Didn't you ask Scarlett Johansson if you should use your cane?
Yes, she said, walk for me a little bit, and I walked, use your cane. So that's why Elenor has a cane throughout.
When you met with Scarlett
Mm-hmm.
Johansson, what were your thoughts? Here you are at one end of your career. She's at the other, kind of.
Yeah.
And there was a time when a woman wouldn't have been, shame on me, allowed to direct or thought of as a director,
Yeah, director.
in film or on stage. What was it like working with her?
Oh, it was wonderful. It really, truly was. It was. I didn't know her at all, and we had a Zoom meeting, and she was so open and so there, and I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. I mean, who couldn't work with this? I mean, this is perfect in terms of saying, do I want to work with someone like this or not? I mean, she was so open. And
she's a good actress.
she's a brilliant actress. No, I mean, I admired her work tremendously. So it was not like, well, I'm not sure how good, there was none of that. I mean, I just felt she was one of the best actresses we have going today. So there was that, and then the fact that this was a very human person I was talking to. And we both left the Zoom, her saying, yeah, I want you to do it, and me saying, yes, I'll do it.
Well, that's the way to leave a Zoom.
Yeah.
I'd like to take you to the night of the Academy Awards when you were nominated for Nebraska. What were you thinking and feeling that night?
Well, I was very proud, for one thing. My son was my date. And so I liked the idea that he and I could be together. And actually, when they announced the nominations, he was living with me in my apartment at the time. And he got up, and I guess I got up too to hear them. And then we heard my name, and he said, "Mom, you did it, you did it." I mean, it was so beautiful for me, to be sitting there at 5 o'clock in the morning with him and him saying that to me. And we both started crying. So it was like, then having him with me was perfect at the Oscars. And I think now, I've gone into so many award things, and it doesn't, it seems Pollyanna maybe to say this, but it doesn't bother me that I'm not the chosen one. It's as simple as that. I love being nominated. I loved that part of it. But it was not, I don't know, I wanted it. It wasn't that I didn't want it, because I did. But I had also gotten to know Lupita during the whole thing, and we were sort of like had each other's back a lot during that whole thing. So I was kind of, oh boy, I'm glad Lupita got it,
And we'll be right back. If you'd like to be more involved with us at Still Here Hollywood, you definitely can. Just visit patreon.com/stillherehollywood. You can support us for as little as $3 a month. You can get our episodes a day before they post anywhere else. You can see what guests will be coming up and submit questions for them. You can even tell us what stars you want us to have on as guests. You'll see what goes on before and after the episode, plus exclusive behind-the-scenes info, pics, video, and more. Again, that's patreon.com/stillherehollywood. There's a scene in Nebraska, takes place in a cemetery. What was that like to do?
Oh, God. Well, I have to
Were you wearing anything? I'm dying to know.
Underneath?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Of course I was.
Because you stand with your back to the camera
I know,
and lift up your dress.
Nobody can see. It was funny because that is the first shot I did on Nebraska. And Alexander told me that was going to be the first. I said, "Alexander, you're kidding me. That can't be the first shot." He said, "It has to be. We have the cemetery those days."
What's my motivation?
Yes, right. So, I got thrown into it, so to speak. But
isn't that the scene they showed at the Oscars?
yes, it is. It is exactly the scene they showed at the Oscars.
I thought I remembered that.
That was the scene they showed. If they were interested in me or anything about me, that's the scene they showed. One gentleman asked me, "What did it feel like to pee on the grave?" And I said, "I wasn't peeing on the grave." And it got sort of a life of its own.
It's its own, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was memorable.
Yes,
I'll say that.
Yeah.
Did you ever think, why did this take so long?
No.
No? Mm-mm. Just grateful that it happened.
I had a great career before the film, and the film just sort of happened to me. And so I think in a way I always thought, well, I'll do another film and then I'll go back to doing stage. But it didn't. It just kept film. So I don't think I ever thought that,
Did it change how you see yourself?
Well, it changed how I saw myself, what I would be doing. Yeah, like all at once I realized, and people said to me, you belong in film. This is where, this is what you should be doing. So in that respect, yeah, it did change how I looked at myself. And also, it was before that, but it was about Schmidt, another Alexander Payne-directed film, that I think
Jack
changed,
Nicholson and Kathy Bates, I think.
Yeah. It changed how Hollywood looked at me, or how casting looked at me for film. And all at once I became, I think, something that they could see, where before, I think it was a little June Squibb, I'm not sure, but then all at once oh yeah, It happened. I could feel it happening.
So you believe in second acts?
Second acts, yes.
When you were offered Thelma, did you laugh as you were reading the script?
Oh, yeah, I did. And I loved it. I loved the script.
It says a lot of positive things about getting older.
Yeah. There's a strength to her that I think a lot of older people have. That it's sort of like denied all the time. But, God, yeah, if you want something, you go after it, no matter your age.
Had you ever imagined leading an action comedy?
No. I don't think I ever, again, I just didn't think of it. I didn't think in terms of Thelma was a leading role. The script was sent to me, and I loved it, and I said yes to it. And, but I don't think that, I just don't think I think that way. I think in terms of this script I want to do, and it didn't matter whether it was leading or what it was.
What's the best thing about your life right now?
Well, I think the fact that I am working as much as I am and can still work is a big plus in my life. And I have a lot of wonderful friends that, are there to help, or are they? Many of them came into New York when I was there doing Marjorie from L.A.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel lucky, in that respect.
What do you see yourself doing? Are there any roles that you would love to play, or maybe you haven't even heard of them yet? Maybe they haven't even been written yet.
Yeah, I'm sure. No, I people keep saying, well, how much longer are you going to be working? And as long as, the Yellowjackets was a surprise to me. My agents, I don't know, they might have talked to them about it before, but I don't know. But it was like all at once, oh, wow, TV, yes, perfect for right now for me. I've done 2 films where I did a lot of press with each of them. And it was wonderful that we got all the press, but that takes a lot out of you. You're constantly moving, working, flying. And so the idea that I could just do a TV show for a little while is great. I love that.
What quality do you have that you think people want to work with, that makes people want to work with you?
Work with me?
Yeah.
Well, I like to think, I always try for realism when I'm working as an actress. And I think that this is what people want. I think they don't want to work with someone who's coming in with ideas that are not based on realism, I think. I think that's a big plus for me. And I've always had that. Even when I was doing musicals, I worked to make them as real as possible.
Are you a soprano or an alto?
Alto.
I'd love to sit and talk to you about all the actors you've worked with and directors, but I'd like this to be about you. Tell me, if I had never seen you in a movie or anything, what would you recommend that I go watch?
Of my stuff?
Yes.
Oh, God. Well, you know what's fun? In and Out. An old comedy.
I saw that.
Yeah.
When it first came out.
Yeah.
Kevin Kline and
Yeah.
Debbie Reynolds.
I had a very small role. We were Debbie's family. I was a member of Debbie's family. But we had one scene, all the women were together. And I had that wonderful line, my husband has 3 testicles. And so, that was one of my first, actually, that film did tell me I could be funny in film. Frank Oz directed. And we're still friends. We see each other, and it's all hugs and kisses again.
And I think it was written by Paul Rudnick.
Yes. And Scott Rudin produced it, and he was very hands-on producer.
Do you like that?
I did. I thought he was great. I mean, I thought he had a lot to say that was very, very good for the film, I felt.
We'll be back for more in a moment. What about Woody Allen? You worked with Woody Allen, correct? What was your first impression of him on set?
Well, I loved him. I really did. There was something about him that I really dug, and they called me when all of this, when his problems started happening, and the child was on set with us all the time. And Alice, she was about, I think, still 1 year old or something. And I mean, my knowledge of him doesn't go beyond the film. So I mean, I have no way of knowing. I have no answers at all to anybody in terms of what has happened, to him and to his career, his reputation.
Were you able to separate, or are you able to separate art from artist?
Not completely. Not completely. I think that's difficult. I think when you're doing it, if you're just watching it, then I think that you can perhaps separate, because it's what your brain, your mind is telling you. But if you're working with it, I think it's a different situation.
Have you noticed any differences in how audiences talk about that work as opposed to other work you've done? Because of him, or bringing up his name?
No, I don't think so, because I think that was very early on, too. Alice was one of the earlier films. So, no, and people don't ask. I think it was when it was all sort of coming out in the news and everything that people were asking me, and not newspapers, but magazines were calling and wanting to know what I saw during Alice.
Nothing.
Which
I saw
was nothing.
nothing.
There was nothing.
Who made, of the people you've worked with, who made a big impression on you?
Well, Jack Nicholson, for one.
Oh, yeah? How come?
He was wonderful with me. He never made me feel like I was any less than a peer. And I at the time, it didn't seem like anything. Of course, he and I were working together and the whole thing. But looking back on it, I realized what a big hunk of personality that was.
Really?
That could do that, Yeah, because I was nobody, when I did About Schmidt. Nobody knew who I was. I had done 3 or 4 films before, but they were all small roles.
Now, when you talk to people, you say June Squibb, and they're likely to know who you're talking about.
Yes, they do.
Do you like that notoriety?
I do.
Do you like the fame?
I like the fact that it's from work, that it's from the work I do, that people know me.
Is it true that you married your acting teacher?
Well, yes, my second marriage was to an acting teacher.
Yours?
Well, he wasn't until after. Well, no, actually, I guess he had started before we got married. He started coaching me. And then I went into his class, and he still continued to coach me all the time.
Well, that's handy.
It was terribly handy. And we had a baby. I mean, he's good for a lot of things there.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah. No, and he was a great father.
What makes a director great from an actor's point of view?
If they understand what you're doing, where you're going, what you need at the time. Because what's frustrating is a director that tries to give you too much, is trying to help you when you don't really need what they want to give you. And so I think a director that can understand actors. And God knows actors are all over the place. You've got all kinds of different ways of working. So it's difficult. I don't think it's easy at all. But there's, a director who can sense kind of where you're going, what you need.
How do you tell them? How do you show them?
You just work. You in rehearsal.
And let them figure it out.
Yeah, or for film, you just start working in front of the in front of the camera. And yeah, it's not your business to tell them. They have to sort of see where you are, what you're doing, what you're...
Hence the title director.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel typecast as the sharp-tongued older woman? Did that bother you?
No, but you know what I was when I was younger, I was typecast as a bimbo all the time. I had blonde hair, sometimes platinum blonde hair. And in Cleveland, I did a lot of small things before I started doing bigger roles. And they were always like the whore on the side or the prostitute standing on the street, something like that. I was, just from the physical that I projected.
And did that bother you?
No. I just loved being on stage. Didn't matter what it was then.
You love the sound of applause. Nothing wrong with that. Were there roles that you turned down because they felt too familiar?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
I don't know that it's not that I wouldn't. I don't remember. Because for me, I'm a great one if it's not used at the time, and right there, everything goes.
That helps you from part to part, doesn't it?
It does, because it's gone, right after.
Start with.
And I've always been that way. That's nothing that's happening now. I've always been that way.
For many years, you were the memorable supporting player. Did you embrace that or fight it?
Yeah. It was not that I thought of myself as a supporting player. I looked at each script and tried to find, for me, what there was in that. So I think that's why this thing about me being the leading role, in Thelma and Elenor, and Marjorie Prime, too, is not funny, but I mean, it doesn't collate in my mind.
Doesn't compute.
Doesn't compute, no.
When you see your younger self on screen, what do you think? Boy, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. I think I look pretty good.
Seems only like yesterday.
No, it doesn't seem like yesterday.
Oh, no.
No, I think I get tickled at myself sometimes.
How old do you feel?
Now, about 35.
That's a good age.
That's the age. Even when I was young, I looked at 35 as something. I don't know why.
My mom got to be 98, and it was always, I don't feel my age. I don't feel 98.
Yeah.
Great lady. Do you watch your own performances?
Most of them. Some I don't. Some I haven't seen yet. I will see it.
Do you feel comfortable watching yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I for the most part, I think I kind of look at it as a film, or a TV show.
Not life.
No.
Is there a moment in your life that shaped you more than any other, do you think?
I just think early on in my life, I knew this is what I had to do. And I don't think I've ever deviated from it. And I've been married twice. I have a son. I've lived a life, God knows. But I don't think I've ever deviated from this idea that this is what I do. This is what I am.
Do you have any secrets about staying as good looking as you are and as healthy as you seem?
Oh, God, I sleep a lot. I do. I love sleeping.
So do I.
Do you? I just love it in the morning.
I love a nap.
Oh, yes. And I don't take enough naps, but I do take some. Okay. If I'm really tired, I will take a nap. But I love the idea of sleeping as late as I want in the morning.
What time is that?
About 10 or 11.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I get angry at myself if I go past 9:30.
9 is a good time to get up, I think. But I love the idea that I could sleep past 9.
have this bad habit of turning on the TV and then just laying there, not getting up.
Oh.
Give me the Price is Right at 10 o'clock.
You solve a lot before you get up.
I do. All the problems of the world.
Yeah.
People call you inspiring. Does that word fit you? Do you like the feel of that word?
Well, I'm not going to knock it. I think it's a lovely word. And all this business about icon and all of these things. I once said in a press thing that if I hear icon one more time, I'm going to scream. But
it's a word that's overused these days.
Yes, it is now. And it's lovely. I mean, how could you complain? My God, that's really lovely if people feel that.
You can write a book?
I don't think so. I've had one or two writers have asked me about it, but I don't think But we are probably going to have a documentary. It's still in the very formative stages, but there is a documentary supposedly going to be.
I think that would be interesting. I mean, Elaine Stritch did one.
Yeah.
Did two, actually.
Did she?
Well, if you count the one on stage, the one-woman show.
Yeah.
And then she did another one after that, which was much more about her life.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. What was it called? I'm not good with names today. It's one of those days.
Yeah.
When people look back at your career decades from now, what do you hope they say?
She was a good actress. For some, maybe even a great actress, some things.
Who didn't you get to work with that you would have liked to, do you think?
Oh, I still, I guess there's still Bob De Niro.
Bob?
Yeah. Robert De
Niro. Why?
I just think he's a really good actor. I think he has been his whole life. And, I think he's doing some things now that, for different reasons, but he's still a really fine actor, and it would just be fun to work with him, I think.
At 96, I'm reading this question, when you close your eyes at night, do you ever think about how rare and precious another day is when you wake up the next morning?
No. I don't.
Take it as it comes.
Yeah, exactly. I lie there thinking, well, I hope I go to sleep early. I hope I'm not lying here awake,
That's a pain, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you could send one piece of wisdom back to your 35-year-old self, knowing everything you know now, what would it be?
I guess just don't listen to people. If you have mentors, people you really trust, like I feel, like my second husband, whatever he said, I understood and used. But I think that we try to please too many people. I think even at 35. And I was not a pleaser. Even as a kid, I was not a great pleaser. So, but I think that even myself, who was not a pleaser, tried, to keep things on a good level and all this. And I just think that we have to start thinking about what ourselves, I am capable of knowing what's right or wrong, or what I need or what I don't need.
I was just reading something this morning about how important it is to level with yourself and be the booster you might not find anywhere else.
I think that's important. And I think that's something I didn't understand at 35.
Well, I like you. I've really been looking forward to this. I'm so glad you were able to come in, and I'm not disappointed.
Good. Well, that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking me.
Still Here Hollywood is a production of the Still Here Network. All things technical run by Justin Zangerly. Theme music by Brian Sanishin. And executive producer is Jim Lichtenstein.